For the third year running, the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge took place on the flanks of the Rensburgkop Mountain, Swinburne, just outside Harrismith. This event sees enthusiasts of an extreme sport, rock climbing, gather to pit themselves against the elements: bright sunshine, windy conditions, hard rock, and a weekend of fun and camaraderie. This unique challenge was set up in honor of a young man whose life was tragically cut short during the pursuit of his greatest passion, rock climbing. And as such, the competition places major focus on safety in rock climbing.
The Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge is a great event. It brings people from out South Africa together to climb here at Swinburne, which was the area where Rory had his accident.
Rory was a very talented young climber who died tragically on this mountain, and his parents had taken up the initiative to organise a competition.
It was Rory's dream to organise climbing competitions. After he died, we found pages of plans of competitions.
Rory's main ambitions was to get a competition climbing circuit up and running and to promote safety and training amongst climbers.
He was a very active climber. He loved climbing, loved doing new routes, loved going to the most remote place on the mountain.
Nothing nicer than coming out here and watching people actually have fun, learn something that you can take forward in life.
This event is trying to show people what he did for climbing and to experience some of the adventures that Rory had whilst he was still alive.
I think it poses challenges to you yourself. You learn a little bit more about your inner selves.
The 2007 challenge has seen a diversity of people, a range of age groups, including participants from schools like St. David's, Durban High and Treverton College. Visitors from as far afield as the United States, Canada, France and Zambia arrived to take part. Participants emerged with armfuls of metal and jumbled apparel of a distinctly alien appearance to your casual hiker. Gear has to be sorted and checked. Chalk bags have to be filled and all parts present and accounted for. Fingers are taped and muscles are warmed up. The clinking of quick draws slung from harnesses fills the air as climbers gather at the starting line.
And it makes us extremely proud, Debs and myself, to actually have all of you here again. I can see we've grown. We believe it's actually becoming you're becoming a family of ours too. We might have lost a son, but I think we've gained a lot of sons and daughters. Thank you.
Fancy dress is another aspect of the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge, which makes the event so much fun. Many teams will have spent their time formulating a game plan or strategy around which routes to complete first. The dangers involved in going up against gravity, which is ultimately the greatest opponent on the field, are also on people's minds. And they're off. Many teams start the challenge at a run, as those who are fiercely competitive want to start certain routes ahead of other teams. George Mallory, an epic mountaineer, in response to the question, "Why climb Everest?" once said, "Because it's there." For many at this event, climbing is done because it's fun and because of people.
Why are we here? Dressed up or just here? Well,
that's a difficult question.
It is indeed.
But we are finely honed athletes, as you can see. And we came to win. And failing that, we came to
Have fun.
destroy. Oh, yes, have fun.
Yes.
It's a very addictive sport. When your adrenaline starts pumping, you don't want it to stop.
I think it's all about the extreme sports and just knowing that you can do something that everybody always wishes to do.
Everyone is just so friendly, and it's awesome to have everyone from all over South Africa just coming together and having a good time.
A very encouraging aspect this year was the number of women competitors, which is great for a sport that has traditionally been male-dominated. This competition is also unique on the South African climbing calendar because it challenges 3 disciplines, namely sport climbing, which involves climbing with a harness, ropes and bolts, bouldering, which involves climbing on boulders without ropes and utilizing a bouldering mat for safety. And trail running or mountain adventure running, which involves reaching various points on the mountain and thereby accumulating points. The objective of the competition is to gather as many points in each of the disciplines as possible. And the competition has been structured in such a way that a combination of climbing, bouldering and running points are required in order to win.
Okay, well behind us bouldering, which is usually on smaller rocks. You have crash pads and generally there are no bolts or no clipping or harnesses or ropes, and you just use the safety of your friend spotting you and you climb up, and there are easy routes and hard routes, and the joy is just to go out there and have fun.
There is always a little bit of risk involved. You can fall, and you have to be conscious of the risks involved, especially when so many others are climbing around you. Different to sport climbing, bouldering typically involves very powerful moves in a short sequence. A boulder can be no more than 2 meters high, but a climber might spend 2 or 3 days working the boulder problem. With bouldering, the climber aims to get to the top of the boulder problem, and in doing so will fall off multiple times. Safety in bouldering relies on the partner spotting or catching the fall, or positioning the fall so the climber lands on a large foam crash pad. A sequence of 5 moves can earn a climber the points required, and each boulder has points allocated to it. Chalked holes on the boulder give an indication that another climber has been on the rock before, and may provide insight on which route to follow.
There are definite risks in climbing, but if you follow simple basic guidelines in climbing, you always check your harness, you always check your knots and your ropes, and you check your partner's equipment, you can avoid most of the dangerous situations, and you can have a lot of fun.
Climbing gear is intensive, strength tested and manufactured to international safety specifications. Climbers know their equipment well and are careful to use it properly. A climber must have a fundamental trust for his climbing partner. A climber's life is literally in the hands of his or her belayer.
The idea behind a climbing rope is it does have some stretch, so that when you take a fall, the rope does stretch and absorb some of the forces of the fall. This is what's called a quick draw. The one end of the quick draw we clip into a hook in the mountain, and the other end the rope clips to. This is called the belay device, and as a climber is climbing, you feed the rope. Should the climber fall, you hold the other end and that blocks. This is called a screw gate or a locking carabiner, because to open it you have to unscrew it, and it locks like that so it won't open. Standard climbing harness consists of 3 parts, the waist loop and 2 leg loops. This is a rock climbing helmet. Crucial part in rock climbing. Helmet has saved my life 3 times. So from rock fall. Okay, rock climbing shoes. The general aspect of rock climbing shoes is you've got a sticky rubber that helps you keep your foot on the rock, and they're quite tight so they don't slip on your feet. go.
Climbing requires endurance, concentration, and strength. Power to weight ratio is important. Being light of weight helps, but being powerful is the most important physical attribute required. Technique does not rest in the strength of the arms alone. Footwork and balance play an important role. Flexibility, core strength, and body tension contribute to maintaining contact with the rock and maximizing the use of available holds. For this reason, women often find themselves suited to the physical requirements of climbing. Being lighter and more flexible allows many female climbers to excel. The mental ability of the climber should never be underestimated. The climber needs to be able to work out how to cover a route smoothly and efficiently to score points. Endurance can be tested to the limit.
I really enjoy climbing because when you get to the top, you know you're finished. Like, it's a clear, defined goal. It's not like work or relationships or other goals that I have in my life that are kind of nebulous and moving all the time. Like, to climb as hard as you can, get to the top, clip in, and be done. It's like very satisfying and very fulfilling in a clear and defined way. It's a personal challenge. It's not like a team sport or something like that, although often you'll be very close to your climbing partner, which is probably why some of the relationships are so strong in terms of the climbing world. People rely on each other for their lives and safety. And when you're on the rock, though, it's really about you and your strengths and weaknesses and learning to recognize those and working through them sometimes. And that's just incredibly satisfying. And at the end of the day, you get through something like that. It's scary, but you dig down and you reach deep inside yourself and you hold on to the rock and you calm yourself down and you just push through.
There is definitely an element of fear. Sometimes you're up there and you're actually quite terrified, but ultimately your gear is good. Your climbing partner, you should trust them. So it's more of an adrenaline rush type of fear than a bad fear. And there comes a moment as well when you really get into it and you move on the rock and everything just clicks and comes together. You move your foot 1 inch into the right place and suddenly your hand can reach something and everything just comes together and suddenly the fear is gone. And it's really a wonderful, sort of an adrenaline-filled sport.
Many climbers are scared of heights, but their strength of mind and spirit allow them to master this fear over time. The grading system for sport climbing ranges from low to high numbers, with a 5 being the equivalent of scrambling up a steep slope on a mountain, occasionally using hands, a 10 being a section of mountain where a climber would need to use ropes, a harness and a helmet for safety, and a 33 or 34 being the hardest routes in this country.
I've never done this before. And where I come from, people think you're crazy. They mainly consider it as a white man's sport. They'll never really believe a black man doing things like that, rock climbing. So for me, because I've managed to accomplish, even though maybe I didn't climb very high, but maybe it was a difficult climb and I managed to get through it, I'm on top. Ah, man, it's beautiful. It's a feeling of accomplishment, satisfaction. It takes a lot of strength. And you got to focus mentally a lot to try and accomplish whatever it is you're doing. There's a lot of commitment to it. There's endurance, there's perseverance. To me it's good because it builds my character. It keeps me out of trouble, gives me something to do. I've been so welcome here and I've been comfortable here. And you get strangers, total strangers who I've never met before and who don't know me. Who are actually encouraging me on and showing me that no, you're doing it wrong. So that person is actually concerned and cares enough to actually help me out. So to me, that's a big thing. And I actually urge other guys out there, They should try it. They should really try it.
The competition's scoring system is based on good faith. Climbers record their own ascents and points tally, which is monitored where possible to ensure that climbs were completed according to the rules of good form. Safety standards are critical to this and must be adhered to.
Partner is crucial. You rely on your partner 100%. If he makes a mistake, you die, or if he makes a mistake, you both die. So trusting your partner is very important. And also, you know, if you do trust your partner and his ability, you can push yourself a bit more. You build amazing friendships from climbing because you have such a trust. If you're up in the mountains for several days and you're in potentially dangerous and quite scary situations, you place a lot of trust and rely a hell of a lot on your partner, and you go through some testing times, and that definitely builds relationships.
Put up. Excellent. Come on. Come on. Excellent.
One moment of lost focus can be a critical mistake. The belay system ensures a climber's belay partner secures any falls by controlling the ropes by a friction-based device, and the belayer watches, stays alert, and never loses hold of the rope. Swinburne hosts roosts where stainless steel bolts or hangers have been permanently placed into the rock, a couple of meters apart, all the way to 2 top anchors from which the climber can safely be lowered on the rope after they have made an ascent. Climbers clip into these hangers with quick draws through which their rope is threaded to protect any fall that may occur around that hanger.
Well done. Glad you got that. You let that one well. That was cool, yeah.
Feels great because, you know, you just out there on, well, 2 people that like battling the environment, and you know, adrenaline rushes, everything. It's great. And then you look back and then there's a magnificent view.
After 7 hours of climbing, some still had the enthusiasm and energy to cross the line. After a short breather, the competitors and spectators were invited to participate in a timekeeping event called the Burnathon.
Look at that chest. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's take it down.
The aim of the first heat was to push a partner to the finish line in a wheelbarrow, then swap places and rush back. In the next heat, contestants jumped over tires while in sacks, and then had to dunk for apples in a water trough without using their hands. The next heat was a real mouthful of flour. And the lucky ones were rewarded with a bar one chocolate, and those not so fortunate with a horribly dried out Mopani worm. The edible treat was to be consumed entirely before crossing the finish line. There was healthy provincial rivalry, but the guys from KZN proved to be far more energetic, with the winners being Trent Burnett and Scott Sinclair.
The Mountain Club was formed in 1891 in Cape Town and has grown to 14 sections throughout the country. It was basically formed to facilitate mountaineering in the country, to enable people who are keen on the sport of mountaineering, which doesn't include just climbing, it includes hiking, bouldering, going on expeditions overseas, to enable those people to get together and get out into the mountains. The Mountain Club not only supports events like this, it also supports youngsters in the quest to get up to the top of mountains. For example, some of the guys that are here, guy called Alex Harris. He started off with the mountain club as a rookie, 18-year-old, going hiking in the Drakensberg. Well, now he's one of the guys who's done the 7 summits. Another guy, Allard Hufner, who also started off, I think it was just hiking, and then got into climbing, has now become one of South Africa's top big wall climbers. The mountain club has become involved with the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge because it's seen this challenge as a way of firstly getting its name out there, getting people interested and involved in the sport, and also one of the mountain club's objective is that of safety and to promote safety amongst mountaineers.
One of the most important aspects of the mountain club is our search and rescue section, and the search and rescue are volunteers who have a lot of experience in search and rescue issues, and they are present here and they are present in most of the big mountaineering activities that we do, and if anybody hurts themselves they will get them out, and they've had some amazing rescues. It's great, they do a good job.
I mean, there's no rules in rock climbing. It's not like diving where you have regulations and you have to have certain certificates and qualifications to do certain things. Anyone can walk into any store that sells climbing gear, purchase what they want, climb on the rock, do what they want. Unfortunately, that brings its fair share of accidents.
Our aim with the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge is to promote safety and training within mountain climbing in South Africa.
Mountain search and rescue are present throughout the competition should any accidents occur. This group of highly trained men and women dedicate their free time and energy to this voluntary service. They provide the best, and in many cases only rescue service able to safely and competently save climbers across the country when they are stranded or in the vast wilderness they frequent.
Right, the idea is a self-rescue competition. You can see the guys trying to get themselves off there. The aim is not, I think, to give them scenarios which are difficult to crack, that not everybody can understand, but to give them realistic scenarios that are easy to understand and easy to do.
Extensive knowledge of knots and the correct use of equipment is essential to a safe and enjoyable climbing experience.
With your weight in your abseil device, you cannot get it out of the rope. So if you get a point up above it, get your full weight on that, so you've got slack in the system below those, the orange and the blue process. Then you can free your abseil device, put it below the knot or the damaged section of rope, and then now as he's doing, he's just trying to get his weight off those prosecks and back onto his abseil device underneath the knot. And this is a real life situation that can happen. I mean, you can be climbing, a rock can fall on your rope and damage it to a point where you cannot use it. Creating awareness around getting past a situation like that. Okay, what we've done now is we've taken our champs and we've eliminated some gear out of the equation. So now they have to improvise these devices. Let's see how they do now.
It was fun. Worked well.
This event, we would like to see it grow in stature. At the same time, it's not just quantity that we're looking for. We believe safety standards can be and will be improved in South Africa.
When I am down and all my soul so weary.
At an emotional prize-giving ceremony, the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge 2007 Personality Prize was awarded to Angus McFarlane. Last year's winners, Benjamin de Chamoy and Brendan Herner, unfortunately were upseated and had to settle for third position. They graciously handed over the prize trophy to Aled Hafner and Duarte Leroux. Alistair Walton and Michael Potgieter took second position. The mixed team winners were Ralph and Kaya, and the best female team was Erica Miller and Candice Bagley. On the whole, the popularity of rock climbing is growing in South Africa. We have great rock venues, combined with superb weather conditions. If there is a place to go climbing, South Africa is it. And the Rory Lowther Memorial Challenge is an event that is fun yet challenging, adding to a great South African climbing experience.